Treaty with the Sioux Lower Brule Band, October 14, 1865. Ratified March 5, 1866. Articles of a treaty made and concluded at Fort Sully in the Territory of Dakota by and between Newton Edmonds, Governor and ex officio Superintendent of Indian Affairs of Dakota Territory, Edward B. Taylor, Superintendent of Indian Affairs for the Northern Superintendency, Major General S.R. Curtis, Brigadier General H.H. Sibley, Henry W. Reed, and Orrin Guernsey, Commissioners on the part of the U.S., duly appointed by the President and the undersigned chiefs and headmen of the Lower Brule Band of Dakota or Sioux Indians. Article 1. The Lower Brule Band of Dakota or Sioux Indians represented in council hereby acknowledge themselves to be subject to the exclusive jurisdiction and authority of the U.S. and only to cease all hostilities against the persons and property of its citizens, but to use their influence and, if necessary, physical force to prevent other bands of the Dakota or Sioux or other adjacent tribes from making hostile demonstrations against the government of the U.S. or its people. Article 2. Inasmuch as the government of the U.S. is desirous to arrest the effusion of blood between the Indian tribes with its jurisdiction, hitherto at war with each other, the Lower Brule Band of Dakotas or Sioux, represented in council, anxious to respect the wishes of the government, hereby agree and bind themselves to discontinue for the future all attacks upon the persons or property of the tribes, and thus first assailed by them, and to use their influence to promote peace everywhere in the region occupied or frequented by them. Article 3. All controversies or differences arising between the Lower Brule Band of Dakotas or Sioux represented in council and other tribes of Indians involving the question of peace or war shall be submitted for the arbitrament of the President, or such person or persons as may be designated by him, and the decision or award faithfully observed by the said band represented in council. Article 4. The said band represented in council shall withdraw from the routes overland already established or hereafter to be established through their country, and in consideration thereof the government of the U.S. agree to pay to the said band the sum of $6,000 annually for 20 years, and such articles as the Secretary of Interior may direct, provided that said band so represented in council shall faithfully conform to the requirements of this treaty. Article 5. Should any individual or individuals or portion of Lower Brule Band of Dakota or Sioux represented in council desirous hereafter to locate permanently upon any part of the lands claimed by the said land for the purpose of agricultural or other pursuits, it is hereby agreed by the parties to this treaty that such individual or individuals shall be protected in such location against any annoyance or molestation in the part of whites or Indians. Article 6. It is hereby agreed upon the part of the government of the U.S. that said band of Lower Brule shall locate on a permanent reservation at or near the mouth of the White River, to include Fort Lookout, 20 miles in a straight line along the Missouri River and 10 miles in depth, and that upon the actual occupation of not less than 50 lodges or families of said reservation and their engaging permanently in agriculture and other kindred pursuits, the government of the U.S. agreed to furnish at its own cost a sum of $25 for each and every lodge or family so engaged as a common fund to be expended in stock, agricultural, and other implements and general improvements as shall be directed by the Secretary of the Interior, the said sum to be furnished annually for 5 years, it being understood that the said stock, agricultural, and other implements shall be and remain the property of the U.S. to be used and employed for the exclusive benefit of lodges or families so located, and in no case to be sold or alienated by the said band or any member thereof, and the U.S. further engaged to employ at its own cost a blacksmith and farmer for the benefit of said lodges or families. The U.S. reserve the right to construct a road or roads to the said reservation. No white person or other than officers, agents, or employees of the U.S. shall be permitted to go on or remain on the said reservation unless previously admitted as a member of the said band according to their usages. Whenever the Secretary of Interior may so direct, schools for the instruction of said band may be opened on said reservation. Article 7. The undersigned chiefs of the Brule hereby further agree that should the Two-Kettle Band of Dakota or Sioux Indians be located adjoining them, they will cheerfully allow them to do so, and also agree that employees secured to the Brule may be used also for the joint benefit of said two kettles at the discretion of the government. Article 8. Any amendment or modification of this treaty by the Senate of the U.S. shall be considered final and binding upon the said band represented in council as a part of this treaty in the same manner as if it had been subsequently presented and agreed to by chiefs and headmen of said band. In testimony whereof, the commissioners on the part of the U.S. and the chiefs and headmen of said Lower Brule Band of Dakota or Sioux have hereunto set their hands this 14th day of October 1865, after the contents had previously been interpreted and explained and read to the said chiefs and headmen: Newton Edmonds, Edward B. Taylor, S.R. Curtis, Major General H.H. Sibley, Brigadier General Henry W. Reed, Orrin Guernsey, commissioners on the part of the U.S. Chiefs: Mazazawaiate, the Iron Nation, his X mark. Tatanka Wakan, Medicine Ball, his X mark. Tatson Wichakte, the one who killed the white buffalo cow, his X mark. Shiachitka, Little Pheasant, his X mark. Patatsan Mani, white buffalo cow that walks, his X mark. Chante Okitaka, the brave heart, his X mark. Taopi, the wounded man, his X mark. Wagoma Awin, the gourd earrings, his X mark. Echapsin Tapmazatza, the iron whip, his X mark. Chief soldiers, Zitka Dan Sapapa, the blackbird, his X mark. Wahat Chunky Anka, the shield that runs, his X mark. Makapi Ichashna, the cloud that rattles, his X mark. Istaopi, the wounded arm, his X mark. Mindatan Ka Chika, the little partisan, his X mark. Wamandishantanka, the war eagle with large feathers, his X mark. Signed by the commissioners on the part of the U.S. and by the chiefs and headmen after the treaty has been fully read, interpreted, and explained in our presence. A.W. Hubbard, MC, 6th District, Iowa. S.S. Curtis, Major 2nd Colorado Cavalry. Brevet Lieutenant Colonel. W.S. Woods, Surgeon. U.S. Volunteers. E.F. Ruth, Secretary to Commission. R.R. Hitt, Reporter of Commission. Zephyr Racontre, his X mark interpreter. Charles Degray, his X mark interpreter.